The California coast, playground of America, until something deep beneath the sand turned it into Blood Beach.
I'm not kidding, I think I'm fine, my feet!
Blood Beach, where the water may be the safest
Rated
place to
R,
be.
because
Rated
that's
R.
our jam on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. We're back, and Sam has rejoined me and Jennifer, and we're going to talk about Blood Freak. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Jennifer staying up late, too. She's up way later than the rest of us.
It's 3:37 a.m. I'm very caffeinated. Severely. Like, it's fine.
It seems like
She's
it's
doing it for
afternoon
everybody in
tea,
the
yeah.
chat, so everybody should be really excited about it.
Yeah. Are there a lot? I wonder if there are a lot of people who haven't seen Blood Freak and this was their first time, and I want to hear what they thought. There's a couple of comments here. Gobble, gobble, cough, cough.
Yeah, Red Rider BB Gun, thank you.
Oh,
That's
thank
the horror show
you.
on YouTube.
Oh.
And yeah, this movie was one of the weediest movies that I've seen. There was a lot of weed smoking in this, and I guess I didn't remember that part. Maybe that's why I liked it so much.
The early 70s, I think there was a lot of weed. Just saying.
Well, Jennifer and I were discussing this, and maybe you can shed your thoughts on this, some light on your thoughts, Sam. Do you think what was the intended audience for this movie? Because there's also a Christian message in this too.
I've thought about that too. It feels kind of like there's that other Christian slasher that Severn put out a couple months ago, and like it feels like, yeah, I guess there's a Christian message in it, but there's so much other weirdness. I don't know that it would completely reach them. But who knows? You know what I mean? It's literally like I was looking through. Jen wrote a great article on BNS About Movies, my site, about it. That literally this movie, she said, this is a Venn diagram of Sting of Death, Blood Feast, Reefer Madness, and a Kirk Cameron movie all mixed together. That's what you wrote it, and
yeah,
I think
it's true.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good explanation. Just it exists only. This is one of the few movies that could live in this world. I always say that these movies are like they were made in another universe by like how the Men in Black, when they came here, they couldn't comprehend how humans speak and act and stuff. And they're like, certainly humans want a movie like this, and no, they don't. It's a lot like Canon Films when they brought Coming from Israel to here. They made Last American Virgin. And there's a scene where the guy gives a girl a whole bunch of oranges, and you're like, that's something that doesn't make sense in Israel. Like that doesn't translate at all to the U.S.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We have to have a long conversation about the screams in this movie. Can we talk about the screams for a minute? It was the same scream for that woman's entire scene over and over again. And then later there was a male scream too.
Yep. I don't.
The other person I would compare this movie to is kind of like Ron Ormond, who went from making like baffling stripper movies, and well, not that they were, they're made in the 50s and 60s, don't get too excited, but made like baffling exploitation, and then suddenly found God and made even stranger, exploitation movies for Christianity that are full of blood and gore. And you're like, this is more insane and more horrifying than your horror movies, yet it's supposed to have a message. And I don't know what the message is.
Yeah, I don't either.
A sermon at the end of this, like this is where imagine like a congregation showed this to their church, and then afterwards the priest had to get up and explain to the kids, maybe don't do drugs, okay? And that was the end of it.
Well, I'm pretty sure Brad Grinter wasn't a Christian. He was a nudist. So I'm not sure.
I think maybe it was one of those things. It's like this movie's got to play somewhere. We got to four-wall it somewhere, so let's hit like every kind of audience that we can do. Do you know what I mean? And also, like you said, there's a lot of vegetarian kind of good eating kind of messages in this, years before we started talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Beth, we were also talking about this where they reveal the creature, and they cut out of the scene before they actually show the reaction of the people in the room who have seen it. And it's a very strange way to communicate with the audience, I think. But you weren't expecting that. That's what I like about this one. Blood Freak isn't going to do exactly what you think it's going to do.
No. And that's why it's great.
That's why I love it, because I think I've said it before on the show, but I think it's worth saying again. It's why, like, when you go see a movie today in the theater, you know that it's been focus grouped and it's been through 1 million people before you see it. So they kind of sanded off any of the unsafe edges. In these movies, nobody saw them before they spooled. Like, it was somebody's vision, and for better or worse. And it's like, sometimes it's like, that they didn't get any notes for, like, why didn't you make a bigger deal of introducing the creature? Like, no, that's just what happens. That's how you get it.
I think the only filmmaker who gets away with that today is probably David Lynch.
Yeah.
Because you just, you never know what you're going to get with him. You just know it's going to be weird.
Cronenberg's latest was like that too. I just saw it a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, it's one of those things you have to just think about it for a while, and it ends just randomly. Nothing seems to have been resolved yet. There didn't really seem like there was much of an arc to it, and then you think about it later. So Blood Freak, maybe that's where Blood Freak was coming from. They're like, hey, we don't care what you think about later. You could think about how fun it is to smoke weed and how bad it is to do heroin, and you could think about Jesus and praise the Lord, they say a couple of times in there. Or you can think about the sexy stuff that they show, like the boob shot and the bum shot. This movie had everything, and it seemed to have no identifiable moral center.
Yeah. And there's that one victim that had American flags all on her dress. And I thought, did she just show up wearing that? Or was this on purpose? Are they trying to get us to think about American culture? And I don't know. And then she gets killed. So, and there's a little bit of, I don't want to say anti-Vietnam message, but he's a vet and he's an addict. So that's in there.
People weren't really talking about that. I mean, they were talking about it, but not in movies as much in 72.
No.
So it's pretty, amazing.
What year did Death Dream come out?
I think 74, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar. I mean, not similar, but
Yeah, that's the movie I always think of where it's like, oh wow, this is like even predating Deer Hunter to really get in, Coming Home to really get into this.
Yeah, it's a really good movie, actually.
Yeah,
It was it was a sensational thing to have your movie be about. None of them were really all that serious about their evaluation of Vietnam. It was just sort of like something that was current that would make somebody, get this twinge of something when they go to see it, and keep talking about it, hopefully, so more people would go see the movie.
I also there's a quote in Jennifer's review of a husky guy, which I would assume is the person that Bill was interested in this movie.
Yes. How did you guess?
I've watched thousands of movies with Bill. I know he knows when I perk up and vice versa. And
he looked like he was absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Anytime there's a girl with a page boy haircut being shitty to people, Bill just elbows me in the ribs. He's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, I guess, yeah. We all have our types, right?
No, yeah.
We're still waiting for that rare Dorothy Hamill video to surface where she's berating her personal assistants and hits her in the face with a skate.
Yeah. Actually, Bill, one of our movies next week, I think it's the one next. Yeah, there's a sex tape tie into one of the two movies next week. Pretty exciting. One of the first ones from the 70s, so it's we're gonna get deep into it. But I really wish I had been home in time to catch this because I really dig this movie, and it's just such a strange movie. Plus, it cost $25,000, which even back then wasn't a lot of money.
I could not find that info. Where did you find that info?
I found it in your article. You said,
"Wait,
$25,000."
Oh my god! Jesus. Okay, no,
I trust your sources. I'm sure.
No, it's just I've written so much since I've written that article that it's that Simpsons episode where the info in Homer's brain gets pushed out. That's pretty much me.
No, it happens all the time. I can't even remember the movies we showed last week.
I know.
Well, plus you write.
How could you forget Winter Beast?
Yeah. How did you forget Winter Beast, Bill? Come on, that movie gets stuck in your head. Plus, you write whole life stories for people, so you're like absorbing multiple years of people and then turning them into these narratives, and it's
crazy.
Yeah.
I worked with one woman who had 3 ex-husbands named Steve.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I finally called her and said, we need to figure out how to do this because it doesn't make any sense when you read it back. And I said, just call them Steve 1, 2, and 3. So I'm like, oh my God, really? Okay.
It would be scary if they all look similar too,
I never saw the pictures.
She knew what she liked.
My aunt had 5 or 6. She was married, I think, 3 times, but she's had 5 or 6 long-term people in her life. They always have 3 letters in their name, and they all look really similar. So it's pretty scary. They all look like Steve Buscemi, kind of. So, and they're all like Ralph, like Max, and Jim. They're all 3 letters. Everyone.
Joe. Yeah.
We always make fun of my dad. You're next. So
That's great.
Yeah. So luckily it hasn't happened.
The comforting knowledge that Blood Beach couldn't possibly be as bad.
Get ready.
Well,
what you wish for.
You may not be able to say that after watching Blood Beach. If that seems to suggest you've never seen Blood Beach. So
that said, at least in Blood Beach, even if you don't like it, you can either stare at John Saxon or you can stare at Marianna Hill. Either way, there's a good eye candy in that movie. So
John Saxon's like a legend. So
yeah,
he's good in everything.
It's funny because my brother hates these movies and he loves John Saxon. So only because he's in Enter the Dragon. He's Roper in Enter the Dragon, which
of course.
I love him in that movie because his whole character. He's like, I'm a gambler that fights people. Okay, good, you're in.
So random. And he really isn't very good.
And he's also Kung Fu. My brother also loves him because he's Maskatron in the $6 Million Man. So he at least he crosses over. If he had been in one of the Planet of the Apes movies, he would have been super exalted in my brother's world. But in my world, he gets killed in broad daylight in Tenebrae.
Yeah. He was in that other Bava movie. Not other Bava movie. The
The girl
the
in the
Bava movie.
Evil Eye.
Yeah,
Evil
yeah.
Eye.
The black and white one. Yeah, that was a
Very
great
young
movie.
John Saxon.
Super young.
Mm.
That movie's great. That movie is like a lark comparatively to. It's like, yeah, it's a genre, and like it's very nice. Everybody gets along pretty well, but then like within a few years, Bob is like, what if I just killed a whole bunch of people horribly? What, man? Yeah.
Oh, Steve had an
He's
interesting
in Black Christmas,
observation.
yeah.
Careful what you pray for. Seems weird for a Christian movie.
Yeah. Again, I'm not sure who the key audience was for this. But
do you think that there was a nudist premiere for this with his people? Like, it's a
I
nudist
hope
image?
so.
We're all going to watch it naked.
I hope so. And I hope they had towels on their seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest concerns about a nudist colony.
Yeah, completely.
They all piddled when the Turkey Man came out.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, there are clothes down there for a reason sometimes.
Yeah.
So, you have to be sure.
Yeah. And it's Florida.
Yeah.
It's humid.
It's sticky. It's so weird. Like the Herschel Gordon Lewis and like everybody that made like the nudie cuties. When you watch them today, you're like, I never want to go to these places. This is so boring. It's like, is this, back then it was like, this is like Vice Squads would break in when you're watching it and stuff. And you watch it now, you're like, this could be on regular TV. Like, this is not, nothing as good as happening. People are fishing. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'll keep my t-shirt on. Thank you.
Yep. Are there any like designated places still around in Florida that are like?
I know of a
Hopefully there
few.
was someone in Florida in the chat that could answer.
Yeah, Lee. Fess up. Where are all your nudist colonies?
I know that there's a colony outside Austin. Because I worked with a client who was really into it and he wanted to write a book about it. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Our kids lived in Florida for a little while and they lived near a nudist colony because they would always say that that's the nudist colony. We drive by there. Like, really?
I'm pretty sure we don't have any here, but I could be wrong.
Well, I thought in many European countries it was just a given that you could be nude on the beach.
It is
wrong.
Yeah, I was just in France last week and it's topless. I mean, not everyone is topless, but yeah.
Are there rules? I mean, like, what about bottomless? Could you be completely
no bottomless?
Okay.
I think there is a small all nude beach, but it's really hard to get to. Like you have to hike by, like for an hour to get to it or something, but nobody thinks twice about it. It's just the topless bit. It's fine. And to be fair, it's usually like older grandmothers from Germany.
Yeah.
So
it's never don't get your hopes up. You go to the nude beach, you got to eat all. It's like when you go to the salad bar, you have to eat everything. Like you're going to see everything. Like
you're going to see everything.
Yeah.
And there's like the older guys from Germany in the smallest, tiniest little upsetting Speedos that you've ever seen. I'm serious. Like you're like, oh man. Like, but it's still like great. It doesn't, because the sea is beautiful and warm and everybody's cool and much more liberal.
We had a talk with my dad after walks. He used to wear a Speedo a lot. And we had to say, like, well, like there's a lot of kids that come here. My mom was super into it, yeah. And he would like come out with his like medallion on and dive in the pool. It was the 70s. And we're like, pants sizes are changing for the pool. They're just a little down the leg now.
Yeah.
And he was like, my mom was like, I don't know why you kids have talked to him like that. We're just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wonder, like Brad Grintner had a son who worked on films, Randy Grintner. And you got to wonder if they had that conversation. Like, like, dad's a nudist. Like, okay. Is this just normal?
I know of a lot of clothing optional gay campgrounds here in the Pennsylvania area, and if there's one place I would never be nude, it's in the woods in Pennsylvania. It's not a good idea.
A tick problem,
yeah, there's bugs everywhere. It's
mosquitoes.
In the summertime it's gross hot here. I mean, no, I get it, like, it's not for me.
It seems way sexier than it is. In reality, it's not sexy, like, when you're watching these nudie cuties and you're like, oh, nude on the moon, it's great. This is how it's going to be. Never lives up to it.
I actually liked Nude on the Moon. It was all right.
Yeah. It was always my nightmare as a kid that my parents, I don't know why. Why would you have this nightmare? That my parents would be like, this year we're going to a nudist colony. And I'd be like, no. Like,
No.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that was filmed at the Coral Castle? I
It
think.
sure
And
is. Yeah.
is that what it was called? The Coral Castle?
Yeah. That we talked about it last week a little bit too. It's a place made with ley lines and magic. Yeah. And there's a Santo movie made there too. One of the next to last Santo movie was made there.
That's cool.
It's in Wild Women of Wongo too.
Wow. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah. We did just write a stink bug is my long gestating movie, Jen. That I've been working on, because stink bugs are a big thing in Western Pennsylvania. They don't do anything. They just stink when you smash them. But they smell like mold. Yeah, they're horrible.
I don't smell them. I don't know. I always
hold
wonder
them
if
up to
that's
my
a
nose
real
and
thing. Do they
lines.
really stink? Because I can't tell.
Yeah, they do. But maybe they'll invade a nudist colony in one scene. We'll just have everybody run out, and there'll be a whole bunch of old German dudes in speedos. Pick one out. Gott den Himmel, and they'll run out, and they'll
Auf die Liebe.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, we could do something like you could film part of it here in Britain, and then I'll send you the footage, and you can.
I should get everybody to film me a little scene and send it. We'll put it all together.
Yeah.
We have to communicate that it's a global phenomenon. So that's where you come in.
Yeah. We'll just superimpose one in front of Big Ben, so that's our scene. We'll do a lot of B-roll footage.
Right in front of Parliament.
Right in front of Parliament.
That's what you need. I actually seriously have a friend who was walking past Parliament and found a briefcase, and he was curious, so he went over and opened it, and it was open, and there were like handcuffs, fuzzy handcuffs, and like whips and stuff, and he was like, "Of course, it's in front of Parliament. Like, it's Great Britain."
They left it there on their tea break.
Yeah. Oh, they have bars in the Houses of Parliament. They have full open bar from 11 a.m. till close, and none of them pay for it. And they're all, I'm told, by somebody who used to be an MP, blitzed by 1 p.m.
It's like the filming of the Match Game.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, who's running the show?
My whole understanding of England is a mixture of the young ones and James Bond movies. So you can imagine how bonkers England seems to me. So.
Yeah, it kind of is a little bit like the young ones. At least my world is. Yeah, a little bit. I'm not the James Bond stuff. Nah, I mean, not that I've seen. So, Yeah. But I don't think I gotta look it up now. See if there's any nudist colonies in Great Britain.
Oh man, there's not a lot of sun, so I can't even imagine the paleness that would ensue in Great Britain.
You have no idea, like fish belly white.
Like you can see it from space, I'm sure.
The bottom of a great white shark. Completely. British naturism. There is a homepage.
Oh, man.
The thought of nudity for Brits is scarier than nudity itself. So the answer is no. They're
never nudes like what's his name on Arrested Development. They always keep their jean shorts on.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Jennifer Upton, it was so nice of you to join us on the program tonight. Is there anything you want to say about Blood Freak? Because I know you said you wanted to sign off before we start talking about Blood Beach.
Yeah. I'm going to watch Blood Beach tomorrow when I wake up, and then watch you guys talk about it after.
Oh, that's good.
So,
we need to get like little minute long. If next British movie we do, we should get like a minute report from you to share before the movie starts.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Do like a Peter Walker movie, like Frightmare or something like that. Like, love that movie.
We've talked about doing Frightmare. I think last week we talked about it.
Have you done the Flesh and Blood show?
Mm-mm.
Oh wow, that's another good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Have you back on for that one, I think.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah.
That is also Pete Walker, correct? The Flesh and Blood show.
I believe so.
Because there are a couple movies out there that I always forget are Pete Walker movies. When I find ads for them, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's a Pete Walker film. I
Yeah.
have to see it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. There weren't that many, I should say, independent British horror films. They were, small studios, but they weren't full on independent like Blood Freak,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to crawl into bed now. Dream of turkeys. Maybe have a turkey sandwich tomorrow for lunch.
Oh man.
Make one for me
You'll see him
too.
in the background behind you. Like, watch out.
Yeah.
That scene where he dug into that turkey really got me hungry.
I know. I thought, Sam, before I go, you were going to do a cranberry cocktail.
I really should have. I went to the hippie side of it and like just the weird flavor, kind of like an acid kind of thing. That's where my mind went.
That's cool too. Like an absinthe thing. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
we did drink absinthe at the last drive-in thanks to someone in the chat, and everybody got very green fairied up on it. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the chats. Thank you. Am I supposed to be able to chat, by the way?
You can. I think there's a box down there, but usually the guests don't chat in the chat.
Yeah, I don't have a box. No.
You have to follow
I have it on my phone too, and then I'll send something sometimes to folks if I see something.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks everybody in the chat, and thank you, Bill and Sam, and give your fur babies a big cuddle for me.
Oh, I certainly will.
And I will chat with you guys both soon because I need to talk to you both about work stuff. So cool. Okay. Have a great time. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was great.
Yeah, I'm so excited she was on. There's a lot of stuff she's written on the site, and I'm always excited when she writes stuff on my site. She's really insightful and stuff.
Yeah, I really dug talking to her.
Yeah, awesome. Friends meeting friends, making friends.
And she suggested Blood Freak, and I was so excited to see that movie again.
Yeah. So Blood Beach.
So, yes. Feature number 2 on the program tonight, Blood Beach. And boy, is this a special movie for me. I don't know how you feel. But
I love it because I love the idea that it's like you ain't even getting to the fucking water on this beach. Like everybody's like, I'm worried about sharks. There's something under the beach. What is it? Fucking who knows? It's just something. We may never see it. We might see it in the cut we're showing. You might see a cut that they spliced in footage from another movie. Otherwise, who knows what's under the beach?
A horror hottie. Yeah, this is sort of like a proto graboid in Blood Beach. And I guess we're not spoiling anything by talking about that.
And you know what? I love when Burt Young's in a horror movie, obviously. So, that's another big thing for me. He's in my favorite Amityville movie, Amityville 2. And he's also in this as LAP Detective Royko. They got the detectives on this case. And obviously Mariana Hill's in it, and that's a great reason. Yeah. Her hair doesn't approach the levels of baffling insanity that it reaches in the baby, but it's still pretty good.
She has a more ordinary hairdo in this film.
For anybody else, it's wild. There's
She's
also
one of those people too. She looks different in every movie that I see her in. And sometimes I don't even recognize her until she's been in 1 or 2 scenes. I'm like, oh, that's Mariana. But
there's also somebody named Hoagie in this movie, and it's not Michael Caine, which is kind of blasphemy. But there's also like eyeballs get left behind when this thing kills people, and that's it. They just find an eye, or whatever it is. There's a lot going on, but I really love it. It's a good drive-in movie, right? Because I think it's the kind of movie that you can go and get a hot dog at any point and still be entertained by it. And it's a good movie to drink to. It's entertaining. So, I mean, isn't that what we're looking for here?
David Huffman is a sad story. He's not a sad story, but his life came to a tragic end, and he happened to witness an accident someone had a car accident, and there was some kind of confrontation that arose following the car accident. One of the people involved was a young boy who was about 16, and he had been out robbing cars the whole day or something, and he had a screwdriver in his pocket. And David Huffman chased him into the woods after he fled on foot, and the kid stabbed him to death with a screwdriver, and he bled out there like before anybody could help him, probably within like a couple of minutes. So it was like a horrible thing that happened to him. But he is one of the leads. This is one of the only movies where he had a lead. And normally he was like a, sort of a background character.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bum everyone out.
No. It's good. And you know what? It's summertime. It's time for a beach movie, right? Maybe not a beach you'd want to go to, but a beach movie nonetheless. I'm sure, like us, Bill, 4th of July, we watched all the Jaws movies. Because what better time to watch them all? So you can put Blood Beach into your summer beach party rotation.
Definitely.
The horror party beach can go in there, and you can put all of those beach fun in there.
Killer beach movies, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah,
yes, that would count.
It would definitely count. Humanoids from the Deep would count.
Screamers. You
will see a man get turned inside out, maybe.
You totally won't.
You totally won't, but you might. But you probably, you're not. No matter what we say, don't believe the trailer. But yeah, Blood Beach was a movie I was really freaked out about as a kid because I would see the box at my video store and I was like, I'm already afraid of Jaws. And like the idea that if I walk on a beach, what scared me as a child, especially going to the ocean, is the idea when you're swimming out far enough out into the ocean, right? What's beneath you? Like you have no idea, and like how deep it goes and what's below you. And then now to consider that beneath the sand, that there's another thing, and how deep the sand goes, and can it come up and get you? Like I'll just stay in the house and read my books. I don't want to go anywhere. So
it was a little confusing to me also when I was a kid because it was rated R. We were never going to get an adult well, at least I wasn't. No adult was ever going to take me to see Blood Beach. So you would see the movies advertisements and wonder what it could be about. I'm like, what is there that could suck somebody under the sand? And of course, I didn't know because there is no such thing. But this movie made one up, and it gives us a monster that you sort of see, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I guess you can use your imagination maybe and figure out what it is. It's frightening though. The unknown is kind of frightening. I imagine it's some Lovecraftian multi-tentacled tremors like elder god that lives beneath the ocean. Yeah. You know what? I agree. Tentacles is a great beach movie. Bill and I debate Tentacles. This is our Siskel and Ebert moment. I just
Tentacles. Watched it again the other day.
Did you love it this time? Did you like Sam was right this time?
Well, I never said you were wrong, but I just said that I have had a love-hate relationship with Tentacles my whole life. And it's just I'll never forgive it for disappointing me. But sometimes
is it a 4th of July movie? Did you determine if it is a 4th of July movie?
It isn't. No.
But there is an Uncle Sam walking around in it, right?
Yes, but it's not related to it being the 4th of July or anything. It's like Liberty Week. And it's taking place in August. This regatta.
What the fuck is Liberty Week? A holiday that they made up just for Tentacles?
Tentacles needed some. Well, they were Italians filming in America, but they were Italian. So then what the hell did they know about?
Shelley Winters is like, can I wear a ridiculous outfit? And they're like, why do you think we cast you, Shelley?
Yeah, we already have your ridiculous costume for you, Shelley. Don't worry.
She put down one Oscar and said, here's my fucking photo. And she put down the other Oscar and said, this is my resume.
Here's my resume.
Yep. And they're like, we just want you to dress like a fucking lunatic and be in this movie. So, and David said he watched Tentacles and the Visitor the other night. I can only imagine that you probably had a call off work the next day because watching both those movies together is like mixing NyQuil and cocaine. Like you don't know if you're coming or going. I still sometimes when if left to my own devices, I'll sit and just wonder, what is The Visitor about? Who is it about? Why is it about? Why is Franco Nero? why do all those kids have shaved heads? Why is Ted Turner the enemy? You know, why is Sam Peckinpah in this movie? Why is Shelley Winters in this movie? I have a lot of questions.
Why does someone go through a mirror in a wheelchair?
I love it, but I'm hard pressed to tell you what it's about. And like people are always like, I heard you like The Visitor. I go watch it. It's a real piece of shit. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I love it, and I can't tell you why. Why do people like Christmas? I don't know. They like opening gifts, or they like, you know what I mean? It's just like the ambiance of the feeling. I like the ambiance of The Visitor. What if that was our national holiday? Everyone had to watch The Visitor and give each other that. On Liberty Day. On Liberty Day, we all get together.
Day.
My family on Liberty Day, we all got together and watched Tentacles together, and we talked about our love of octopi.
The other thing about Blood Beach is it's a 1981 movie. Which is going to be in our new issue that's just about finished, the Drive-In Asylum 1981 yearbook. And
I got to tell you, when I finally finished my article, it felt as if a great weight was lifted off my soul, because I like kept promising it, and like, okay, and then I finally did it, and I'm so excited. This is the issue I am most excited about, because I got to see the sneak preview, but also 81. The more I thought about it, like 81 is a year of just amazing shit. So much good stuff.
Yeah.
If only Halloween 2 came out in 1981, it would be the greatest year ever. But then they're like, you know what? What if 3 werewolf movies came out the same year, and Blood Beach, and Lucio Fulci made 3 movies in the same year? What if this happened? And he did. They did. And 81.
A bunch of slashers, more slashers than you ever thought you could handle.
Why did we start? Why did they keep making movies after 81? They should have been like, movies are done. We've done it. Just keep watching these ones. We don't need to watch new ones.
I stopped caring about them right around them. I think maybe 83 or 84 was my cutoff point.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I mean, IMDb lists Blood Beach as a 1980 film. But technically, the only place it played in 1980 were a couple of film festivals. And it's really interesting. I was looking it up, and because I wanted.
Can you imagine going to a film festival and we have a Truffaut movie? Yeah, Truffaut movie, and here is Blood Beach.
It played Cannes. There was an article about it. Some critic wrote about it playing at Cannes.
You know what else played Cannes in 1981? I definitely know that Enter the Ninja played Cannes in 1981. So.
The really amazing thing is I found a little blurb that mentioned it as part of the London Film Festival in November of 1980. And the critic went on and on about it, about other horror movies that were in it, like He Knows You're Alone and Terror Train, a couple other ones. But then he got to Blood Beach, and this is what he had to say about it. None of those slashers films, is what he was talking about, is as good as Jeffrey Bloom's amusing and sophisticated horror picture Blood Beach, one of the 90 movies in the 24th London Film Festival. So imagine going to a film festival that had 90 movies and saying something nice about Blood Beach. It's got to be a good movie.
What other movies played? What other movies played to call this sophisticated? Like sophisticated, not like if you're like, give me 200 adjectives about Blood Beach. Sophisticated would never be the adjective that I used.
I have to choose my words with care, because Jeffrey Bloom got really annoyed with me on Facebook for saying that this movie looked cheap. And I meant it as a compliment, because, you know, obviously if there was a budget, it went into the creation of this monster. And that's one thing we have to prepare you for. If you've never seen it, the reveal of the monster is the critical mass moment of this film, because apparently it didn't work. Like the animatronic thing that they built was very difficult to operate. So they only show it for a couple of seconds, and then, well, it's not around anymore. So, but Jeffrey Bloom got annoyed with me for saying that on Facebook.
I mean, the shark didn't work in Jaws either, right? So it's just like, you know.
Right. I never meant to say that Blood Beach wasn't a good movie, because it is. And it's a very unusual film for its time, because it's about adults. There are really no teen characters who are main characters. And that was sort of the it thing at the time, was to have the kids in the movie. But these are character actors like Mariana Hill, Burt Young, John Saxon. There are a couple other people too who they weren't quite so high profile, but you recognize them and you're like, these are all people that work together to create these characters. And Mariana told me that she said we all had our acting coaches on set with us, and we all took it seriously. And that keeps me coming back to it.
I would like if Blood Beach was an episode of Kolchak. Like it feels like it would be kind of like it fits into that kind of world of like Monster of the Week kind of stuff, you know?
There would have been a better excuse for it not working if it was on Kolchak.
The same as we've talked about before. If The Dark and Blood Beach were episodes of Kolchak, we would love them. Even more than not that we don't love them already, but they feel like Kolchak spread out a little bit without having Darren McGavin in it.
Yeah, they're just missing Kolchak.
Yeah, though I love John Saxon, and maybe he's Kolchak's brother.
This is the earliest that it played theatrically in the United States, this is from January 1981. Literally the very first weekend in January. So that's why I call Blood Beach a 1981 film, even though it existed
I gotta tell you,
before that. What?
I've watched some bad movies, and The Jazz Singer is legitimately the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh, I love The Jazz Singer. It is so corny.
I'm not saying anything bad about it, but it takes Laurence Olivier is arguably the greatest actor of the 20th century, right?
I have no
somehow he comes down to the level of Neil Diamond and said the other way. But the more I watch that movie, like I sing every song in it. I get bonkers about that movie.
That scene where he walks into the studio and performs "Love on the Rocks," it gets me every time.
Oh, I had the my parents had the album of it that came with the book, and I would just pour through it and say, "Someday I'm going to get to see this." But man, well, I know where your eyes went on this ad, by the way, directly where they went.
Where?
Bottom right corner.
Incredible Shrinking Woman. There are so many places to look in this ad. 9 to 5 is another personal fave. I love Stir Crazy. I've never seen Seems Like Old Times. I skipped that on HBO.
It's okay. It's all right.
And Caddyshack, I think I've seen once, and I thought it was funny, but not as funny as everyone else seems to think it is. So
let me tell you, Becca hates that movie. Let me tell you, I love that movie and can quote it ad nauseum. It's a wonderful film. Honestly, Ted Knight in that movie. When I teach wrestling, Ted Knight is the best bad guy ever. He's awesome in that.
Here is the actual. Those first two ads from early January didn't have a graphic that went with them, but this is the one that we know and love. That poor woman being sucked down into the sand like that. How could this happen? And why is nobody turning around and looking at her? Why does no one seem to be seeing this?
Yeah, why is she the only one on the Blood Beach?
She really chose the position of her towel poorly on Blood Beach.
Yeah. Oh my God, what is going on in this show?
Yeah, I just words escape me for once.
Oh.
There's so many beautiful things, and this was all brand new stuff at the time.
Burrito Bob's Mexican restaurant is proud to present Blood Beach.
Yeah,
kids are free. What kids under 13 would? None of these movies are appropriate. I love this double feature too.
Beyond Evil, isn't John Saxon in that too?
He is in that as well. It's a John Saxon double.
Yeah.
It's like two for Tuesday.
Nothing bad about that. Although I do have a funny John Saxon thing that I dug up, and I'll show it after I'm finished with the ads here. This graphic went so far with so little. They could have at least had an alternate ad that they gave you.
Yeah.
Would that have been too much to ask? Jerry Gross. That's who put this movie out in the United States. And, of course, as a Jerry Gross film, it was constantly paraded out with other Jerry Gross properties like The Boogeyman.
Oh. And he is the man that named I Spit on, what do you call it? Didn't he do I drink your blood and I eat your flesh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I eat your skin.
Hide your skin. I mean, yeah. But he is a great namer and a great tagline, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's a great double feature at the hub.
It showed with Zombie a lot too, like all the way into 1982. The only place that there was an ad variation for Blood Beach was in the UK, where they got this little number.
What's funny is the wrestling company WCW ripped this off for Bash at the Beach. Like literally the same exact ad, except it had an arm making a muscle coming out of the beach. They 100% ripped this off.
So there you go.
Oh, man.
Now, the thing that I dug up about John Saxon that I'll talk about real quick is this article that went out on the wire, maybe to promote Blood Beach. I'm not really sure. But this appeared in a whole bunch of different newspapers. And basically, he didn't name it in the article, but he was talking about how when he was in Italy making Cannibal Apocalypse, he went to see Cannibal Holocaust in a theater, and he was so horrified by what he saw, and he was horrified by what they were asking him to do in this movie that he was making. And this was basically him with a piece of scare lore about how movies in America were going to get this way too if we didn't do something about it. I don't know what John Saxon wanted us to do.
He wanted to avoid being in cannibal movies after this. He was really upset when what's the one he's in? Like he was like, I did not sign up for a cannibal movie.
Right. What, didn't he read the script?
I think it's that kind of like, I didn't sign up for this, but I did cash the check for it. So thank you.
Yeah. So I that was a different view of John Saxon than I've ever had, and like basically clutching his pearls over the content of these films.
To be fair, John Saxon also wrote a script for Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy, before he was Freddy, interacted with the Manson family. So, exploitation is exploitation, right?
He wasn't above stooping to that level.
No, he made a lot of bad movies that were maybe animals didn't get killed in them, but he made a lot of bad movies. But I love him, so
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything truly bad about John Saxon.
No. So yeah, this drink's called Blood Beach. I went easy on it, right? I didn't come up with a fancy name. So we can call it Marion the Hill on a Beach. How about that? That's another good one.
Whatever, works for me. I left my shaker downstairs.
Oh, you mean to wait?
What did I do? No, go ahead. Just do your thing.
All right. We're starting with 1.5 ounces of vodka. All right. Then we're going to go with 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps. All right. And then we're going to go with 1 ounce of orange juice. This has all sorts of flavors. This is really, it's a sex on the beach with blood in it, right? So that's kind of what it is. So we're going to do 1 ounce of orange juice. And 1 ounce of pineapple juice to chase that. This drink's you can get all your servings of fruit in this drink. So never say I didn't make it healthy for you.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Yeah. And then finally, we're going to put 1.5 ounces of cranberry juice. All right. We put all these juices away before it made too big of a mess.
I just killed my last bottle of Malibu. I went off.
I also bad Malibu, so that'll be another trip to the liquor store.
I went off recipe. Sorry, I just admitted it on camera.
Go with your heart. Listen to your heart when it's calling your name. All right. Time to mix it up. You would be impressed with how much it hurts your shoulder to go through a table. It really does.
Oh, yeah, you didn't really talk about that too much, did you?
No, I wrestled tonight, and I got put through a table, and it was fun. So, here we go. Whoa,
Of
this
course, I
is a good
spilled
color.
some of this.
And thanks, Red Rider BB Gun, for the kind words. All right, so now we have the drink. We're going to add a little bit of blood to it.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, look out, John Saxon. Okay, Sam. Oh, my God. There we go. A little bit of, well, I can't see it. Oh, there's blood on top of my drink. Let's just, you can't see the monster. It was not, there is no such thing as breakaway prop tables in wrestling, John. This table would not break. Someone went off the top rope and bounced off me. And then I got put in a corner and I got speared through it. It didn't break again. And I thought, surely, if a 270-pound man spears me through a table again, it's going to break. Thank God it did. And then I got stuck inside it in a big hole the size of my ass. But it did break, and that's that. So,
oh, wait, you didn't go head first? I thought you went head first.
No, I went back first through it.
Okay.
I have gone head first through tables, too, though. That's maybe easier. But, yeah.
I was envisioning something a lot more violent than what actually happened.
I mean, it was pretty violent, but...
I mean, not to take away from the violence, but it was a different kind of violence.
Also, if it looks like I still have face paint on, I had my corpse paint on, and taking it off makes my face look, my pale face look very red. So if you see Sam have face paint on, kind of I did, but it's gone now. Anyway, Pazuzu, thanks for everybody coming to the show.
Pazuzu. Is nobody going to ask about my Ghost Host shirt?
I asked about it, and I think it's wonderful.
I have to show off my Ghost Host shirt.
Yes.
I just made this on Sticker Mule.
You have an addiction to Sticker Mule.
I can't stop. It's just I have all these T-shirts I've been envisioning for years. I'm like, I'd love to have a shirt with Ghost Host on it. And I found this is like a really rare logo that they used for the show. They didn't use this insert card very often, but I remember seeing it on Channel 22 a couple of times. So I've been obsessed with it ever since. The actual Ghost Host logo is very different, but I had to make one with this shirt. I knew if anyone ever did make a Ghost Host shirt, they probably wouldn't use this one. And then here's his blue face leering at you from my chest and belly.
Bill bought me this wonderful Cruel Jaws T-shirt,
which may remind you of another shark named Bruce.
Someone said, Mary, what are the Jaws movies I should watch? I'm like, you should watch the fifth one. And then they just looked at me real funny. And I said, it's the best one.
Right on, Matt. That's a great idea. Just make sure Sam and I aren't naked on it.
Yeah.
We were talking about a nudist colony, so...
it's literally... It's us doing and did you ever do that in gym class where you had to spell out letters? Did you ever have a teacher made you do that?
No. It sounds very culty.
Yeah, when we were in third grade, we had to spell out words. We'd be like C and hey, and everybody would have to spell. It was like YMCA but dumber, and it was really bad. And I hated it. So yeah, it's literally a shirt with Bill and I spelling out DIA together. Look out for that.
Nobody wants to see that.
No, look for that at a shirt shop near you, or online. Really, that's the only place to get shirts now, right?
They are very comfy, Mike Justice. I'm very impressed with it. It's sort of got an iron-on-y feel to it, but it goes away after you wash it. Yeah. And now it feels like just something that would have been silk screened almost. So it's clearly not though. I mean, it would never pass for a silk screen shirt, but it's close. And if you can make your own T-shirt, it's only $19. So anyway, back to Blood Beach.
Back to Blood Beach. Let's talk Blood Beach.
Back to the Blood Beach. Before we get into it, go ahead.
I wish they had made a sequel to this movie.
Yeah. Well, I wish the movie would have been successful so that it would have warranted a sequel.
Yeah. Also, not a movie that's out on home video, really. I mean, there's bootlegs of it, but it's not like easy to find one. It's I mean, we have it on YouTube, so everything will be fine. But you know,
There's a pretty nice version of it on YouTube. I didn't link
yeah.
to the extended cut. Um, there's an extended cut of the movie. I've watched it. It doesn't actually. It claims to have more monster footage in it, but the monster footage is pasted in from other movies. One of the
Yeah.
I think the main thing they are using is the grasp of the Lorelei, aka when the screaming stops. The Lorelai's
Yeah.
grasp. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Armando de Osorio. I think that's the monster footage they cut in there. I could be mistaken, but it's definitely not anything that was filmed for use in Blood Beach. So that seems kind of cheap. I don't know.
Yeah, but they tried. I still like it. Look, I'm very forgiving of this movie. We're gonna come back. People are like, I didn't like it. You know what? I'm still gonna like it. You're not gonna sway me. I like it. You know what though? I think it's just make a nice drink, put your feet up, pretend you're at the beach, not Blood Beach, but at a beach. I'd like to show this at a beach and do kind of like a tingler thing and like have like little things grab people while they're watching it. They'd lose their fucking minds.
Oh, could you imagine that? That would be fantastic. And you'd have to set something up like a real gag where someone
Yeah.
really gets sucked down into the sand. I don't know how you do it. It would probably result in the person's death.
Yeah. I mean, we would warn one person, like, we're going to kill you. And they'd be like, okay, you know, you might die, but you're going to love the movie. So, you know.
Blood Beach also formed sort of a subgenre from 1981, which was the the unusual monster movie. There was also Scared to Death was something that was like that.
Yeah.
Like a monster that you've never seen before.
Well, I think there was this whole idea of like, not from 81, but Incredible Melting Man and what's the other one? But there was like, you know, it was always like the new monster or the newest in monster because like there had been like all these like classic monsters from Universal and other monsters were big, and it's like, but who is going to be the next big monster, right?
Yeah.
And it felt like that was going to be something happening.
The Boogans.
The Boogans, yeah.
There was also the Boogans.
The Boogans.
They were also 1981 monster movie.
But the Boogan, you
subgenre.
see them, but not much, and they're. Are the Boogans the same creatures from Blood Beach? Discuss. Imagine.
Could
They're very
be.
similar in technique.
Here's something that I want people to pay attention to also. When you're watching this movie, it seems to me as if there's some allusion to the fact that this creature in Blood Beach may have been human at one point.
Yeah.
That this may be a person who mutated into a creature. I don't know. I could just be totally imagining that. And I probably am. But I don't know.
I feel like, you know what? Here's another thing I think about this movie. If this had been a TV movie, right? Because the cast feels very TV movie, and it feels like budget-wise TV movie. I think this movie would be much more well regarded as a TV movie than a theatrical movie. Like it was really good. You know what I mean?
When the monsters are let down, that reduces it to TV movie level. But this is actually, you know, when I called Blood Beach cheap, I was being affectionate because every transfer that I've ever seen of it has been lousy. But on the other hand, it is a very well-made movie. It does have a very unique look to it. It's not. It wasn't cheaply. They didn't treat it like a cheap movie.
Once he watches this on YouTube, you're already gonna get another angry letter. So it's too late. You said cheap, and he's like,
I know. I'm sorry, Jeffrey Bloom. And Mariana Hill said you were wonderful to work with, and she loved working with you, and she loved how you took the movie seriously. But she did say she warned you to make sure the monster was scary, and this one just sort of, I don't know. It doesn't live up to all the hype once you see it, everything leading up to it.
I know Alien is one of your favorite movies, and if all the hype of Alien had got to the part where we see the creature, and it didn't live up to it, it wouldn't be well considered. Like when you finally see it and it's in the light for a long period of time and still looks frightening as fuck. Like that's why it worked. One of the many reasons why it works so well. But like Alien had already came out. So we had already elevated our expectations of what creatures were going to look like at this point. Like American Werewolf in London came out this same year or close within 6 months, say. And that movie, that has a wolf transformation on screen in front of you without, in broad daylight. So like by this point, like special effects tech had moved up. So we were waiting, people were waiting to see stuff that looked like crazy monsters. Even Deadly Spawn, a similarly budgeted movie, maybe less, has incredible monsters by comparison.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was much to Jeffrey Bloom's displeasure that the creature didn't operate the way that he wanted it to. I do think it's an incredible concept. If they'd been able to realize it practically a little more realistically, then this movie would be much better regarded. But as it stands, it is a great movie in the way that, like I already said, the actors are committed to it. It's a very artfully filmed affair. The cinematography is great. And there are inventive ways that they come up with to patch over the fact that they don't have a convincing monster, including like monster point of view shots, which are the go-to thing when you don't have a creature that operates correctly. But they work very well. And then there's one scene in this movie where there's a guy who's searching for something on a beach, and we see him, we're watching him, and then all of a sudden the camera goes whoosh, and you realize you've been the monster watching him, and it attacks him. So that's a great moment. There are a lot of moments like that in this movie that elevate it beyond what it actually could have been.
I'm excited to watch it again. So I was excited when we talked about it before, so I'm glad that everybody's going to be watching. Has anybody not seen it before? Let us know in the chat. I'm interested to see who hasn't seen it before.
We forgot to ask that for Blood Freak, and I was glad to find that a lot of people hadn't seen it yet.
And before we start, the tease, next week, we got 2 crazy movies next week. And you want me to tease them, Bill?
Yes, please. Tease away.
Austin Trunick is our guest next week, who wrote the Canon Film Guide 1 and 2. And Austin has picked one movie, and we picked one movie. His movie is nuts. Like, seriously, it's the 3rd movie in an unconnected trilogy that is something else. I really, words escape me. It is not Ninja 3. It's another canon 3rd movie, though. I wish it was Ninja 3. We couldn't find it streaming. And Austin's actually going to be out at the drive-in on the other side of the state. What's that one, Bill? Mahoning. He's actually doing an entire night of canon stuff out there, including a whole night of trailers. And the 2nd movie is a canon movie not made in America by a director that I love. And holy cow, it's also insane. So really excited for next week's 2 movies, just as I'm excited about this movie. And it's not the worst beach movie ever. There's way worse people in suit movies like this. Not that there's a person, but so I'm really excited about it. I hope everybody else digs it and enjoys the giant rusty metal artichoke, as Mike said. Mike has seen this movie too, which is also exciting. So there's your clue. Has Mike seen it this week?
Mariana Hill said it looked like a vacuum cleaner, and I think I can't get that image out of my head now. Ever since she said that, because I had never thought about it that way. But yeah, it is like a giant vacuum cleaner. So the creature from Blood Beach, we should come up with a name for it while we're watching. But anyway,
let's everybody think of a name for him when we come back. I'd like to see what name people have for him.
It can't be a graboid because that's been taken. So what should we call it?
Yeah. Darren with a great guess. It is not rapping. I really wish it was rapping because that movie shot in Pittsburgh. And holy shit, it's great. Breaking 2 and rapping, all 3 astounding. Breaking 2 is a mind-blowing experience. I'm going to love canon more than anything. Get ready. Next week, seriously, you think I geek out about canon. Austin's like a font of insane information. Bill, in the new book, there are some stories in the new book that have already blown my mind. Just like, wow, Richard Lynch meeting Joseph Mengele while he shot a Cannon movie and spending a whole weekend with him.
Michael Berryman talked about that in Drive-In Asylum.
Yeah. He also when he interviewed Michael Berryman, he also brought it up to him, and he was like, yeah, he met some guy called the Doctor, and he said, I want to know what it's like to be a horrible person. He's like, I drank with him a whole weekend and then came back and never slept. Richard Lynch. A man that set himself on fire to protest the Vietnam War, and then ended up being a bad guy in Cannon movies like Invasion USA. It's not the app. We're going to definitely show the Apple, David, at some point. I mean,
it's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter. Trust me. I mean, the fact. I love the Apple, but yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So get ready.
All right, I just pasted the link into the chat for Blood Beach. That's the YouTube link right there. You can copy and paste, or go to Groovy Doom. It's one of the last posts on there. Make sure you come back after the movie for the third segment, and we'll talk more about Blood Beach on the Drive-In Asylum double feature.